regenerated. The sports franchise, the Tigers, were in town last night, so we're playing against the Yankees, plus the Lions as well. Just across the other side of that beautiful area of the town. We've come across country from the west coast to here at the raceway of Belle Isle, Detroit. Just 2.3 miles around, a circuit that has a number of action areas. Turn 3 down the first long straightaway, and then back through turn 7, heavy braking area there, possibly a little bit of an overtaking opportunity as well coming into turn number 12, but that's been widened out just a little bit. The weather has been absolutely outstanding, and once again Jeremy Shaw and Shea Adam, our Continental Tire Pit Lane reporter, joined me, John Hindo, and quite frankly, Jeremy, it could not be any better. This is a beautiful place to go racing, and whoever ordered the weather got it absolutely spot on.
Yeah, it does look good now, doesn't it? The tree, everything's green out there, and so they've had some rain around these parts of the world, but now no sign of rain, at least for today, and we believe tomorrow as well. So I think we're in for good weather. It's absolutely picture perfect right now. The Detroit skyline looks really sensational.
And in some ways, Jeremy, the recent history of the ground that we're on mirror the city itself, because this very Belle Isle Park has been regenerated, claimed back for the community over the last few years, and some of the finance that's brought in by the motor racing has been put towards that. Yeah, and
this whole city of Detroit is undergoing a lot of renewal, regeneration over the last decade or so. Downtown area now is really quite nice, and you really wouldn't have said that just a handful of years ago. So they've done a huge amount of work here, and this event has been great for Belle Isle. I mean, it had been neglected for a lot of years, and this race it was kind of on and off again over the last better part of 20 years now, and it's now becoming an established event on the sporting calendar.
GT Daytonas will get things underway. This is our only GT class on the island this weekend. The GT LM, the Le Mans cars, are, guess what, in Le Mans this weekend. They're going through scrutineering. I have been today at the Circuit de la Sarthe. So our GT3, FIA GT3 spec contenders are out there, and it could not have been closer. The whole field barely separated by a second in our final practice session earlier on today. Let's go down to our Continental Tire Pit Lane reporter, Shea Adam, who has Lee Keane with her.
Lee, you're not qualifying again. It's back up to Cooper. What advice have you given him to go out and get the pole, since you've been here a couple of times before?
Yeah, I mean, he's actually been doing really good today. He's been really quick, driving really well. We were looking at some data, and a couple places he was right on par with me. Just a couple little things we worked on, and I think he's really excited. I think he's expecting a good result here, and we all are too. The WeatherTech Porsche has been really good all day. Alex Job guys have been doing a good job as always. And yeah, it's going to be crazy qualifying and then a crazy race tomorrow for sure, as it always is here. But yeah, we'll see what Cooper can do.
What are the tactics with putting the non-pro in for qualifying?
Well, it's a short race. And then so all the silver guys are qualifying and starting the race, and then all the pro guys will hop in and finish and race to the flag. There's a couple of different ways to do it, but that seems to be the best way, because you want the quickest guy, in the end there, racing for the win. But all these guys that are starting these qualifying and starting the races now, these guys have really stepped up. The pace is really fast. We've seen some really good driving, some of the best driving I've ever seen.
It's been entirely too long since the 22 WeatherTech car has found its way to the top step of the podium, but this track seems to be kind to Porsches. Are you guys feeling like this might be your weekend?
We've seen some pretty good speed. Pretty happy with the car. At Daytona, we had a mechanical failure running up front. At Sebring, with an hour to go, I had a wheel fall off, and we had pretty good pace. So hopefully, we're kind of getting due. We are going over to Le Mans, going to switch things up in France a little bit. Maybe we can do well over there, too.
Yeah, that's in the back of your mind as well, John, because Lee and Cooper and their third driver, Mark Miller, who's driving in a different race this weekend, the 22 is going to be represented over there, the number 89 WeatherTech, as we now have a green flag.
Yeah, thank you. and Mark Miller will be popping in to see us tomorrow. He's doing the Phil Collins job as far as our broadcasting this weekend. He'll do a little spot with us tomorrow during the race, then he's going to head to France, and hopefully we'll get him on our sister service Radio Le Mans on Sunday as well. So he is the continent jumping commentator. Jeremy Shaw, as we getting underway here.
Yeah, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in 2013, I think, is the last win for number 22 car. Yeah,
I've just picked my jaw off the floor.
Exactly. It doesn't seem that long ago, does it? Of course, the sister car, number 23 machine, that won here last year. And it's just coming off a victory last time out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. But yeah, Shay's comment there to Lee got me thinking. I thought, yeah, when was that? So I started looking back through, and yeah, 2013. So all coming up for 3 years.
That's a very long time in motor racing. 3 races is a long time in motor racing parlance. Well, there's no time to mess about here. The clock is running. It is only a 15-minute session for each of our categories here. GT Daytona getting us underway, then Prototype Challenge, then the prototype cars. They're out on the circuit in their own individual sessions. The clock has started to run. We've got no lap times yet, of course, because they've come out of the pits, done the 2.3 miles, they crossed the line now and beginning their first flying lap, and already traffic beginning to play a part with the 33 Viper right on the tail of the Scuderia Corsa Ferrari as they head through turns 1 and 2 and down to 3, and Ben Keating goes to driver's right, and I think it was Christina Nielsen, wasn't it, that we put in the Scuderia Corsa Ferrari, pulling out of that and not getting involved at all, as both the Viper and the IHG Rewards Club 97 Turner BMW M6 both went through there.
Yeah, and heads-up driving there, I think, from Christina. No point in getting involved in a race during qualifying. You just want to make sure you got clear track and go for a good lap. You don't really get a draft in these cars.
And you don't want to be pushed on by anybody else to do things you don't want to do. They had limited track time because Christina made a little mistake in the first session this morning at turn 7, slightly outbraked herself and put the car in the wall.
Yep.
So she does not need to be doing anything at a pace that she's not comfortable with. And that's not to say she's not a very competent driver, because she is. But she's learning, and we've got some very, very experienced drivers in terms of IMSA and sports car racing here who've not been here before. Numbered among them, Johnny Morlam, he'll be driving the Bar 1 Motorsport number 20 PC car. Catherine Legg, who may well qualify the Michael Shank Racing number 60. Brian Sellers, his first time here in the Lamborghini. And these are guys who I hadn't even thought that they might not have been here before, but just the vagaries of the years that they've been racing, and when the championship has been here, they've not been in the cars.
Yeah, Christina Nielsen, she qualified that car in second position last time out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. So
it's very good.
She's
right
got driving plenty confidence right now.
Correctly.
Yeah, it was a really fine effort, and she and Alessandra Balzan finished second in that race. So well, they lead the points in GTD coming into this weekend. They lead by 6 over Mario Farnbacher and Alex Riberas, the winners last time out. And of course, Christina and Alessandra Balzan won round 2 at Sebring along with Jeff Seagal. So you know, they're on a bit of a run right now, and they want to keep that momentum going.
Now there are some teams that have gone slightly against the grain of the tactics that we were hearing talked about early on. Brian Sellers is in the 48 Lamborghini, the Paul Miller racing car. Robin Liddell is in the 6 Audi. That's interesting. I think we'll need to get down, to be sure, I think you'll need a low 32 or a high 31 for pole position in GT Daytona. We saw low 31s in the last session from Jörg Bergmeister in the Park Place Motorsport Porsche, the 73 car. Now that has got Patrick Lindsay on board. I don't think he can wring that kind of time out of it, but he shouldn't be too far behind it. And Brian Sellers very close to the wall indeed at turn 7, 8 and 9 in that multicoloured 48 Lamborghini. Makes a great noise as well as looking pretty fantastic, and he's now out onto the far side of the circuit, going to the point of the island, turning hard right, sweeping through the last section of the circuit and almost catching the wall with the left rear. As he comes through, he's going to have to use every bit of roadway.
That's what you've got to do here at the Raceway on Belle Isle. You've got to push the car to the limits if you're going to be on the pole position. And I think
31.8 for Sellers. Yeah. 31.8. That's a decent first run.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think we're going to be seeing, as you say, low 31s, mid to low 31s, I would suggest. And I would say certainly that the number 23 car is going to be contending. Number 48 car with Brian Sellers, we're watching right now. Number 73 car also with Patrick Lindsay, who's a very quick silver level driver, and perhaps Corey Lewis here in car number 16 too for Change Racing.
Brian Sellers has been gradually improving himself and the car throughout the time that we've had on track, which has been punctuated by one or two red flag situations where we've had cars facing the wrong direction, difficult to get them cleaned off here straight away. We had a screwdriver left on the track, which we think fell out of a car, which was spotted by one of our eagle-eyed camera operators, John, down at turn 7. And that brought out a quick yellow across the line. Goes Cooper McNeil, 5th position for the number 22, the WeatherTech Porsche. Oh, very close, big slide coming out of turn 2. And good as the Continental tyres are, the power of the Porsche sliding the back end of that car perilously close to the concrete. Matt Bell at the moment. No, Robert Liddell goes through in front of us and goes into second place with a 32.5, 7.5 tenths between them, 3/4 of a second between first and second at the moment. This is going to be a decent time for Brian Sellers. That 31.8 I thought was a very good first flying lap, and he hasn't been able to back that up, Jeremy, and improve it. A 32.1 for Brian. That's the time to aim for at the moment. Farnbacher into the pits with only I say, a 33.2. Would that we could jump into a car and do that around here?
I'll tell you what, the purple sector there for, first of all for Cooper McNeil, which was a pretty stout effort. Now Brian Sellers goes purple again in sector 1 by a tenth of a second quicker than his lap a couple of go-rounds ago.
Yeah.
So he's on a quick lap now.
I think he's just cooled the Continentals off a little bit, maybe found a little bit of space on the racetrack as well, which is always at a premium, even when you've only got 13 cars out there. Brian coming towards the middle part of the lap. He's just going round the fountain and what appears to be a cricket pitch in the middle of the field there. Jeremy and I are very interested when we're watching the aerials just before we came on the air. Something we're going to have to explore later on. Oh, and he's touched the wall this time.
But that's what you got to do, and use purple in the middle sector as well. There, 33.789 for that middle sector. Did he lose any time there by just brushing the wall in turn 12? He comes across the line now.
No, he did not. A 31.3 with white wall tyres that he didn't have when he went out on the left-hand side of the Paul Miller Motorsport Lamborghini Huracan, and Brian Sellers has pulled an extraordinary lap out of that Lamborghini. Was nowhere in the first session this morning. The car looking very, very uncomfortable to drive. Has, with Madison Snow, improved that car throughout the day. And when it comes down to it, and Brian, remember, is a rookie here. He has not raced here before. So Sellers, a 31.3. From in second place, another Lamborghini. It's the Sprazzuoli 27 car on a 32.1, so it's still 3/4 of a second between first and second. Bell now down to third in the number 9 Audi. Patrick Lindsay in the Park Place 73 car in fourth. He's just on a second away. Now, you might think that's not too much, a second between first and fourth, but we had a second between first and 12th in the last session.
No, but half a second.
Half a second, yes, indeed.
Less than half a second between first and 12th. Absolutely incredible session that was. But that was a really good lap by Brian Sellers. That was quicker than he went this morning by a tenth and a half. So excellent lap there. Yes, he is. There's a purple sector 1 there for Patrick Lindsay by about a tenth of a second. So yeah, that's a good margin.
Change for second is Matt Bell in the number 9 Audi. Goes up into second position. So the mid-engined cars from the Volkswagen Audi group are doing the business at the moment. The Lamborghini Huracan, very close cousin to the Audi R8. Exactly the same drivetrain on those two cars.
Middle sector for Patrick Lindsay this time around was he lost about a half a second compared to Sellers in that middle sector.
But if he can stay no further back, he'll move up to the front row provisionally.
And he does.
He could squeeze through into second and does do. He's only 3/10 back with one fastest lap of fastest sector at all and two personal bests. And Spencer Pumpelly decides he wants that Lamborghini, the 16 car, to come and play. He's just pushed in the fastest third sector. Now, did he get a decent run onto the start-finish line? Is he starting a good lap, having finished one very well indeed? 3.5 minutes to go, Jeremy.
And I was at that change racing pit not half an hour ago, and Corey Lewis was all suited up and ready to go out and qualify. So either the scoring is wrong, or they've had a change of heart over there at change racing, because it was certainly Corey Lewis who was intending to go out to qualify the car.
Robin Liddell had to get out of the way very quickly as Matt Bell, his teammate in the blue of the two Audis, the two team cars, was coming through. Robin just touring into the end of the lap, and his teammate does not improve.
What a good lap again from Matt Bell. I mean, he was an ace qualifier in the Continental Tire Sports Car Championship. He had the record number of poles in that championship, and translate that here, that's a really good run by Matt Bell to be third fastest now in this session at 1:32.017.
It's interesting that Brian Sellers has stayed out, Jeremy, and it is definitely Spencer Pumpelly behind the wheel of the number 16 Lambo, the bright green machine. And he's coming round to complete his lap now. This will be the end of his 7th lap, and he goes up onto the inside of the second row, position 3. Lamborghini number 48 from Porsche number 73, from Lambo number 16, from Audi number 9. That's your top 2 rows at the moment. Row 3, if it's checkered flag came out now, would be Lamborghini 27, then the Audi number 6, and behind them Viper and Porsche 33 and 22. Stina Nielsen has wrestled the 63 Ferrari up into 9th place. 2 minutes exactly to go, and Patrick Lindsay's found some space and a very quick sector 1, under 30 seconds for the first sector. Now Lindsay, if he gets a decent run in the 73 car here, may be able to challenge. Brian Sellers is out of it. He is not going for it on this lap, but he will get one more should he want to. He could hustle round to the end of the lap, and here's the Park Place car right behind him, coming down the strand.
Again, though, he's lost 3.5 tenths compared to Sellers' best sector time. Sellers still has the best middle sector time than anybody else, 33.7. 34.1 there for Patrick Lindsay, but Lindsay now has a 2
across the line.
First best sector. Purple in sector 2, look at that.
31.351, 11 thousandths of a second behind the leader.
Effort.
That's a 31.340 against a 31.351. Third, 31.917.
Yeah, and purple in sectors 1 and 3 there for Patrick Lindsay. Great effort by the gentleman from Santa Barbara, California, and he's really just gained in confidence over the last 12 months or so. Every race, it seems, and now he knows he can get the job done.
Robin Liddell looking to improve from 6th position, and Spencer Pumpelly held up a wee bit there, I think, by Patrick Lindsay. I don't think that was, I mean, it's not intentional. Patrick's touring back in now. He's given all that he has in that 73 Porsche. Who else is looking to improve? Matt Bell. Robin Liddell goes up to the inside of the second row. I thought it was a decent looking lap, 1:31.6. The top 2 rows separated by half a second. The checkered flag is out. There'll be no more improvements. Cedric Sprazzuoli comes in now in the 27. He is
not on a quick lap.
Not on a quick one, no. Well, Brian Sellers.
I mean, the big surprise in this group is Mario Farnbacher. Only did 3 laps in total, so whether he clipped the wall, I don't know, because I certainly expected that number 23 Porsche, the winner here last year, the winning team last year, different cars this season, of course, with a change in specifications for GTD, but they're going to start from the back of the field.
Yes, neither the BMW showing either the best in 10th position for the 97. Michael Marzal doing the qualifying there. Shea is going to be able to have a chat with Brian in a minute, and the first thing she's going to have to do is have a look at the left rear of the Castrol Edge sponsored number 48 Paul Miller racing car, and she is doing just that. And I can only suspect, Shea, as we head down to our Continental Tire pit lane reporter with the checkered flag out, I'm waiting for any improvements. Is there a little bit of damage there? Is there a little bit of wall rash?
Only on the tire and the very leading edge of the car. It's not even a scrape, really. I mean, if your child came to you with this injury crying, you tell them to stop.
Have a look at the left-hand side door mirror, the green door mirror.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of white on that. There's a tiny little bit of the paint that's been scratched away, and more actually on the underside, which is interesting. I wonder how that would even happen, but Brian didn't believe that the pole was going to stay. He went up to the pit box with his helmet on and everything. He was waiting for the official word to come through. What a sense of relief when that did. 2 years in a row, Paul Miller Racing has gotten a pole with the 48. Last year it was with an Audi. This year it's with the Lamborghini, and it's your first time to the track. Brian, that was a heck of a performance. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was good. We started off the weekend a little bit off pace, and I think it's, again, a testament to the team. Everyone just kind of kept their nose to the grindstone, and qualifying is the best the car's been, so it's a good time for everyone to hit it right. And I scuffed a wall out there with the left side mirrors, so it's about all we had left, but it's good. It was enough today.
Couple little love marks on the car, not only the mirror, but then back by the tire as well. You got a little bit of white on the tire. Crew going to rib you on that, or do you think getting pole, they're going to let you off?
Yeah, the first thing I said to Paul was I'm sorry before I said anything else, so hopefully it's all right. They're pretty good. They wanted us to go out and give the best we had, and you know, it's a tough field behind. I mean, I did the lap early, and they kept calling Patrick Lindsay out, Patrick Lindsay out, Patrick Lindsay out, and I'm like, oh man, I know he's half a lap behind. In our timing, I was trying to run through my head. I knew he'd have about one more lap on us, and I was just hoping that I've seen him do it to a lot of other people, you know, get him on the last lap, and we were able to hang on. So, but it's tight.
By 11 1/1000ths of a second, you got him on that. You really can't plan it much closer.
Yeah, it's good. We'll take it. Now the race is a completely different deal, and so we go back, prep for that, and see what we have.
Well, good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
That is very well deserved for Brian. He's worked hard at getting that car set up today. Madison Snow has been helping him out because, believe it or not, his young teammate has more laps around here than he does.
And first pole in, you know, at this level for Brian, I believe. I'd like to say when his last pole was. It might well have been USF 2000 or something like that.
So he never got a pole in the Falcon Tyres
day? No, I don't think so. No, 4 wins, but no, I don't believe so.
Wow. So the formalities go on in the pit lane. Let's just for the sake of formalities tell you what everyone else did. Brian Sellers, 131.340, captures pole position for Paul Miller Motorsport and for Lamborghini. Patrick Lindsay gave pretty much everything in the Porsche and finishes up on a 31.351. That's just 0.011 of a second, and that was on his very last lap around. So they'll be the front row when we start the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship here on Belle Isle tomorrow. Second row, Robin Liddell in the 6 Audi from Spencer Pumpelly in the 16 Lamborghini. These are all mid and rear engined cars. We go to row number 3, Matt Bell in the team car to Robin Liddell, the 9 car, and Ben Keating hustled and that big Viper, the Dodge number 33, up to 6th position. Yeah,
that was on the last lap as well, I believe, by Ben Keating. A good effort by the Texan.
Behind them, they have Lamborghini 27, Christina Nielsen in the 63, again, right at the end of the session, did a 32.2. We're still within a second of pole position, by the way, even at 9th position, and then it was the BMW 97 in 10th, and rounding off the field, 23 Porsche. That's the surprise, as Jeremy was saying. And then Ben Curtis in the 96 BMW and John Potter in the 44 Audi in 13th position. That's how they'll line up tomorrow. And already the Prototype Challenge class are out. Continental tyres, spec chassis and engine. They are a very high downforce producing prototype racing car. Started life as an LMP1 car and have done the series Sterling service as they head out for their 15-minute session, which is already 1 minute old. Now, this has been, down the years, we've seen some classic battles in qualifying, Jeremy. The Continental tyres just seem to get better and better through the 15 minutes, and basically you put enough fuel in these cars to do the whole 15 minutes. You set your driver on stun, slap him around a bit and say, get out there and do it, son. Yeah,
just get better and better and better, just learn more and more and more, and lay down the best lap on your last lap. That's what it's all about. Build to a climax and come away with a pole position, because the less the cars you've got to overtake in the race, the easier it's going to be, and that's why it's such a surprise to see at number 23 Alex Job racing Porsche way back there, 11th on the grid in GTD. That's the same car that won last time out, and he was one of my favourites for the pole. I think he must have had an incident on in the final sector.
Reporting that Mario thinks there was a drive shaft either going or on its way out, and that's why he came in to prevent further damage to that car. And that is not the first time this season we've heard drive line and drive shaft issues for that new GT3 Porsche, and that would at least give some sort of clue to why that car is so far down. And as Jeremy mentioned, did only 3 laps. The next fewest was in fact Brian Sellers, who only did 7.
Yeah, and the 3 laps was including the in lap.
Yeah, good point.
So really just sort of, the kind of the one flying lap, really.
So we're live on IMSA Radio around the world via radiolemans.com, and our player just coming up to 5:30 here Eastern on Belle Isle, and we are about to start the qualifying laps for the Prototype Challenge category. And the low, sonorous rumble of the V8 behind the number 38. I didn't see whose helmet that was when it came through. Is that James French behind the wheel? Yes, it is.
I think so.
And he's heading down now to turn number 3 in elegant isolation. Could not want for a clearer track. Brakes, turns in just on the surface change there, and the front Continental tyres just chirruping in protest as they turned in there. Interesting to hear that. They are really on it. The 54 out there as well. And that is...
John Bennett.
Is that John? Yes, it is. He goes through, starts his fastest lap, and already only 11 minutes left, Jeremy. It's these little 15-minute sessions. I really think this is the way forward. So we've been doing this for a while with IMSA. No drawn-out long sessions where people don't come out the garages to the last 5 minutes. No gimmicks, no knocking people out. 15 minutes, get out there, get your best time in, do what you can, leave nothing in the pits.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really, really good. And John Bennett there, slight lock up of the rear brakes, turning into turn 3. Caused the car just to jink sideways a little bit, and as a result of it, he didn't quite carry the momentum through that corner. Left some time on the table there in turn 3. Here's Misha Goikberg we're watching now in car number 85, coming around the fountain section. There's a series of left-handers leading into the right there at turn 11, and alongside of Detroit River again. He'll be a tight right-hander here, and a couple of fast sweepers will bring him back to start-finish line.
Struggling in the middle sector, all of these cars. Oh, and a black squirrel very nearly biting the dust there as Goikberg went through in front of us and finishes the lap in the bright yellow and green number 85 car. Where does he go to? Well, he's 9th quickest. He hasn't gone past all the GTD cars. These PC cars carry a lot of speed on the faster corners due to their downforce levels. But in the middle sector's just testing them at the moment. They haven't got the mechanical grip, I think, in that middle sector, which is a little slower. Now Alex Popper goes ahead of the GT Daytonas, and Robert Alon through in second, so it's 8 Starworks from 52 in second by 8 tenths, 130.435 for Popov in the 8 car. And 8 tenths of a second is an age in this category. So these are the early shots being fired. Still 9 minutes to go. So 4 or 5 laps easily, 6 possibly.
Yeah, and the PC, like GTD, is a quote-unquote pro-am category, so you have to have a platinum or a gold level driver that's sort of top. They're considered pros, and then a silver or bronze are considered AMs, to use the European parlance at least, in each of these cars. And whereas in GTD there's several teams in there that have what we would, at the very most charitable, say semi-pros, and by that I mean really professional drivers. You don't, in PC, it very much is that there is a pro and there is an AM in there, in pretty much all the cars. So you know, how the AM driver does is very, very crucial in both of these two categories. And it's going to be interesting to see now who can lay down some times in this session. Alex Popov is still quickest. So Robert Alon goes purple in sectors 2 and 3, but didn't quite match the sector 1 of Alex Popov, so remains in the second place. Number 8 then fastest so far, 129.1 to the 129.2 there for car number 52. Number 38, that's James French, is third fastest, 129.5. And as you suggest, John, times are continuing
I love
to
this.
come down.
I love this. This is one of the things that has always been absolutely right about the IMSA qualifying. Down into turn 7 then. Robert Alon in the black PC car with the red and fluorescent, that yellow-green highlights. Can't lose that one in the car park. And gets through the fountain section, opens the car up. New colour scheme for the number 8 this weekend of Starworks with the red and white quarters.
Alex Popov on a really, really good lap here. 2 purple sectors, 1 and 2 there for Alex Popov, car number 8. It's across line now for Starworks, and was quicker again. And Robert Alon actually was purple in sector 3, but Popov improves his time, 28.223 there. Really good lap by the Venezuelan.
They sound great, these low revving V8s as well. Just a great, really, really great piece of addition, should I say, to the series. And through goes Alex Popov. This is not a race, but he wanted track position on Robert Alon, and that is the first 2 on the timing screens together on the circuit. I've just realised what that red and white car reminds me of. The soccer shirt from AS Monaco is the quartered red and white on the slash cut. And when you get close to that car, sort of a red and a grey, actually, more than a white, and it is so sparkly. It really is. Even the red, but the white in particular, has a huge amount of metal flake, if you will. Go back to the 1970s and read in the custom car magazines. So white, grey and red, and it certainly cuts a dash. Renger van der Zande joking with me earlier on in the paddock, saying I've been given a small pot of red sparkly nail polish and grey sparkly nail polish in case I clip the wall, so that I can just touch them in. And Peter Barron has said he will have his toenails painted by the end of the weekend. We're holding him to that.
John Bennett up into third place at car number 54, defending series champion, turns to 129.462. That compares to 128.2 by Alex Popov, the 128.8 by Robert Alon, car number 52 in second place. James French also on a good lap, a good first sector, only fractions down on Alex Popov, who now goes faster again in sector 1.
Still 4.5 minutes to go here, Jeremy. There's time for someone to make a move. James French uncharacteristically quiet at this stage.
Yeah, I think this will move him up into at least third place.
And that
the 88
is the 88 car. Now, who was on quali duty? Right. That is where? Turn 10, but has got the engine running.
Mark Kwame, what else has to Bruce? I don't know why.
Got the engine running. He's waiting for cars, I think, to clear the circuit, looking both ways. He's just reversing it out of the way for the time being.
Yeah, French.
Oh, is he hit the wall? How did he not hit the wall there? Spun it to the inside, which is unusual. He's facing the wrong direction. Mark Kwame gets back underway.
James French up in the second place there, just .061. He's the master of these close qualifying runs. And I'm pretty sure it was here at Detroit that he got his first pole, James French. And
he went on that run, didn't he? Where he kept nicking it right at the very last gasp.
Yes.
And he's now within .061 of a second.
And he's gone faster again in sector 1.
Here he goes. But Popov has just snicked it back. There's 2 1,000ths of a second between these two hard charges in the first sector. So James Francis has done a 32.735. Now, seldom do I go down more than 1 decimal place, never mind a 3. Popov will come through in a second. At the moment, he's 2 tenths up. 2 100ths up on his closest rival, and now he goes through to a 32.735 and a 127.851 for James French. So what can Popov do as he comes round? He's got the last sector to do. He's barely a tenth behind at the moment, needs to do a 26.42 in the last sector. Here he comes, he rumbles by us now and across the line. Does he nick it back? He does by .027 of a second. Well, we've had .011 in the GTD. Can we get it even closer in PC? We're not even up to a full tenth of a second yet. If you add the 2 gaps together between first and second in the 2 classes we've seen. Magnificent stuff. And it continues with James French. Well, he's a little bit slower in the first sector this time, but Popov isn't. Popov is going for it again. He's not to be held back. 127.851 for French in the 38 car. That's the red, grey and black machine. Alex Popov in the quartered car, the red, white and grey, the 8 car, 127.878.
Huge improvement there in the first sector by Popov there. He turned a 28.3. That's 3 tenths quicker than his previous best. But the king of the middle sector is Robert Alon in car number 52.
1.5 minutes to go. 127.988 for French. He doesn't improve. Here comes the red and white car. Be coming past our commentary position in a moment as Misha Goldberg goes into third. He's only half a second back, by the way. There goes Popov across the line, and he does not improve. It's Robert Alon that's gone through into the lead. Alon has gone through into the provisional pole position with a 27.5, and all of a sudden, we're not counting hundreds and thousands. He's got nearly 3 tenths on the field with 40 seconds to go to the checker.
And he gave away a half a second in the first sector on that last lap compared to Alex Popov and James French. So if he could nail that first sector, Robert Alon, he'd be absolutely way away from anybody else, because he is consistently the fastest man through that second sector, which is all the way through the down the back straight and around the fountain section.
Well, he's improved his time in sector 1. It's still not as quick as the other 2 guys have gone, but he's improved it again. This is the last lap for him. Checkered flag will come out in 3, 2, 1 now, and through goes James French and does not improve. He will be no better than second outside of the front row. But what a second sector for Robert Alon in the 52, 32.4. Are we going to see a really low 27 here? Popov is pushing, but I don't think he's going to be close. Goikberg hits the checkered flag and stays in 4th position, although he improves to a 28 flat. There goes Pop out. He doesn't improve. So now it's down to Alon, and he does it. Oh, he's backed out of it at 27.678. So he has the 2 fastest times in the session, and Robert Alon by 0.28 of a second, nearly 3/10. He has, in relative terms, blown that opposition away there. That is extraordinary running by Robert Alon.
Very, very impressive. And for the 2nd race in a row then, Robert Alon has qualified that number 52 car for PR1 Matheson Motorsports on the pole position. Consider, this is just his 3rd season of racing in anything. Nothing before. No karting, no Formula 4, no Skip Barber Racing School stuff, nothing. He came into the Coubertage Prototype Lights Championship powered by IMSA with the Performance Tech Motorsports team, did 2 seasons in there and was pretty impressive. But since joining PR1 Matheson Motorsports and Bobby Orgel's team at the beginning of this season, he's just he's continuing to up his game, and 2 poles in a row. Wow.
Fastest 3rd sector went to Misha Goikberg.
Again, he's been the master of that 3rd sector. Robert Alon has been the master in the middle sector, and it's been a tremendously exciting battle there for the pole, as we expected.
And that middle sector was what won it for Robert Alon. I did say that 1 or 2 of the guys were struggling in the middle there, even against GTD times. But my goodness me, Robert Alon nailed that and took 10ths of seconds out of his nearest competitors around there. And in fairness, he improved his 1st sector time down to a 28.8. Well, that was his best 1st sector time. But my goodness me, he was imperious in the 30 seconds or so in that middle sector. Comes into the pit lane now, where our Continental Tire pit lane reporter Shea Adam is waiting to congratulate our pole sitter for the Prototype Challenge category in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship here on Belle Isle. Shea?
Our first 2-time pole winner of the season, Robert Alon, and it's the first 2 poles that he's ever gotten. He was emotional last time. He was almost speechless when he got his first pole position. Hopefully he's got a little bit more to say about that lap, because Robert, you couldn't possibly know, but there were being hundredths of seconds being traded back and forth between the other guys, and then you come through and take it by 3/10. Was it just a perfect lap? Was it the car? What was it that gave you that giant gap?
Well, yeah, just not really sure. I mean, honestly, I wasn't really able to put a lap together in the beginning, trying to warm the tires up, and then, yeah, the tires started coming in, cars started coming in, everything felt good, and yeah, I just went for it.
Do you feel any different having now won a race at the last round? Do you have any more confidence?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that win was a huge confidence booster for me. I mean, it really, made me confident in my own abilities, and yeah, just helped me out a lot today.
Well, congratulations, 2 poles, and I know your dad's here again to celebrate with you, so have a great one.
Thank you.
Do you know, very interesting there. Early on in that session, he said something there that reminded me. He was running slightly ahead of Alex Popwell, and he let Alex go through. He didn't put himself offline. He didn't make himself. He just lifted and let Popwell go through. He built himself up at his own pace. And he said he couldn't get a decent, lap together early on. For a man who has so little experience, that is very, very heads-up driving.
He absolutely is. He's getting great coaching, of course. There's good people there at PR1 Matheson Motorsports, and he's taking full advantage of that. Here's what's interesting to me, though. He said he couldn't put a lap together. There was 3 different drivers. Was purple in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd sectors.
Yep.
Alex Papa was quickest in the 1st sector. Robert Alon was master of the middle sector, and Misha Goikberg was quickest in the 3rd. I've just... my math here, I think it's right. If you add the 3 best sectors of everybody, perfect lap by all 3 drivers, 126.7. That's nearly 3/4 of a second quicker, which is really, really interesting to me. And but the cars are set up maybe slightly differently.
Yes.
So they make their speed in different areas on the racetrack. But fascinating session that was in PC.
And spec racing doesn't have to be all about just doing the same things, and there are enough setup changes that you can make with these cars that make the difference. And Robert Alon is getting used now to getting the promotional photographs taken at the end of the session. A very quiet man in terms of words, who lets his driving and the stopwatch do the talking for him. I'm very impressed with this young man.
Yes, yep. Yeah, he's working very hard at this. He does a lot of karting in between the races now, just to sort of hone his skills, because that's where he lacks, is in the racecraft, and particularly with this multi-class racing here. He's not used to, well, not used to racing in general. What he's done before though is just the single category class there in the prototype light. So here with the traffic whistling past him and he passing other cars as well, there's a lot to take on board for the drivers.
Yeah, I did think that was a really heads-up manoeuvre earlier on when he let Alex go through and just drove his own first 6 or 7 minutes of that race, brought the Continental tyres in at the pace he wanted to, found out where he was good, just leaned on the car, and then those last, 2 or 3 laps, he had the fastest 2 laps.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Prototypes up next. And that's a bun fight as well, isn't it? This could be very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
The smart money, perhaps, and conventional thinking would say that the heavier Corvettes of the Action Express cars, Wayne Taylor Racing, they've been quick. The number 90 Visit Florida car, those cars have been very quick. They've rode the bumps better, but there's still something in me that won't discount the Michael Shank Racing car out there. And I think the Mazda's perhaps just off the pace a tiny bit this weekend. But certainly the 70 car coming back after that engine change, and perhaps haven't got quite as many laps under their wheels as they'd want to. But this, again, is going to be an absolute scrap.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and certainly one would have tabbed the number 31 car as a potential pole winner. But Dane Cameron is considerably quicker around here than Eric Curran, his teammate, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Eric Curran who will qualify that car. In the Michael Shank Racing entry, Oz Negri, of course, a huge amount of experience in that car. Catherine Legg's still getting used to it, driving those 2 sessions. Only today, it's the first time she's driven the car.
Do you put Catherine in to qualify?
Yes, I would imagine so.
She's an experienced enough driver to take that responsibility, and her pace has been getting faster and faster.
Yeah, as one would expect, but certainly she doesn't have yet the level of confidence to be able to probably challenge for the pole position. And Catherine, please go out there and prove me wrong. My favourites would probably be Christian Fittipaldi or Ricky Taylor.
Christian Fittipaldi in a very cool state of mind. Did some following with him earlier on for ZF.com, and we'll let you know how you can get to those little vignettes later on. So these are the fastest cars in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. These are the racing thoroughbreds. They are built with one thing in mind: to go very fast for a very long time, all the way up to 24 hours at the Rolex 24 of Daytona. The mixed category has taken in prototypes with 2 very different philosophies from the last decade or so, certainly from the last 5 years or so, and the rules makers have done a pretty impressive job to make those cars be as close as possible on performance. Just looking there at the VisitFlorida.com car, that car appears not to have the headlamps on. They're just stickers on the grille on the front of that car again. Let's go down to Shea Adam, who's been our headlight correspondent over the last few weeks. Shea, what's the news?
I actually talked to one of the mechanics on that car who sort of half-jokingly said that, yeah, they're not all stickers. They always had the headlights under them. There were just stickers over top of the headlights at Long Beach. But he actually had to cut away part of the sticker so that more of the headlight would show through. So there are stickers over top of functioning headlights. And he was saying that they do the stickers because part of the cool Corvette headlight feature is that it's got almost like a swoosh that goes through, a blue swoosh, which goes well with their design. But on the DP headlights, they only have the yellow stripe. And they didn't want to go yellow because that's Action Express's color. So they wanted to go with the blue stickers, make their livery fit in more. They do have real headlights, though. And if they need the headlights, they can turn them on, and they'll just shine through the stickers. The green flag is out.
And out goes the Corvette behind Shea's microphone there. Okay, I'll buy that for $1. We have seen noses changed. Jeremy's giggling away in the background. We have seen noses changed. The Action Express car, number 9, does not have headlights on. The 31 does. As they go out in team formation, we've seen this before. No doubt about the Mazda with its very distinctive front end with the disco lights on the front. Traditional headlights, those cars. Squint, and that could be a Porsche from the 1980s, couldn't it, at the front of there with the twin 7-inch reflector headlamps on it. The 55 rolls on the pit lane speed limiter. 15 minutes on the clock, has already started to tick down. Oh, and the driver's door, or the door should I say, has come open on the 55 car. But now, is that Tristan in that car, Jeremy? Red gloves, it is, isn't it? He was able to reach over and close the door, so that is no issue whatsoever.
Yeah, they've been struggling with the handling of those Mazdas this weekend, and kind of taken them by surprise. They've been making some big-ish changes to the setup through the morning session to the afternoon session, and again making some more changes for qualifying as well.
Now that's interesting. The 5 and the 31 have swapped around on the circuit, and they've been trailed by the number 90. The blue VisitFlorida.com car. Christian Fittipaldi in the 9, Ricky Taylor in the 10, Eric Curran in the 31, Tristan Nunez in the 55. And who did we put in the 90 then? Not yet. It's Mark Goosens, I'm being told by Shea. Thank you, Shea. Now I see what you mean about those headlamp covers. That's very neat. So the headlights, the bottom third or so of the headlights are still showing, and they've got the stickers over the top of them to fit in with their headlamp colours. So there was a bit of controversy about whether there were any headlights or not earlier on the year. The 55 Mazda making its way onto the final rush to the line here. Still a good-looking car, that, isn't it?
It is, but it's
Mazda
also bucking around over these bumps here. It looks really not very happy at all. It's just down to the damping, the suspension settings. It's a workout for the cars around this racetrack, and there's some pretty specialised thinking has to go into the suspension setups.
And what I've noticed on the Mazdas particularly, Jeremy, all of the cars are bucking around, but it's the back end of the Mazda that keeps getting flicked off the ground. A, that's uncomfortable. B, that's putting a heck of a lot of pressure and energy into the drive line. But see, if your back wheel's on the ground, not on the ground, you can't drive forward. Yeah. And that's got to be affecting their lap times. So early.
A great onboard here from Ricky Taylor's Wayne Taylor Racing Delara Corvette. We're watching from the onboard and looking at the right front wheel well on that car, and the cutout in the top of that wheel arch, and you can really see the suspension moving around below that, the wheel moving around below it.
And it's inches of travel here.
Yeah.
And normally you look at race cars and it seems sometimes that the only thing is flexing are the side walls of the tyres. Well, there are suspension components at work here, and that is of course another one of the issues for both the 55 and the 7.0 car for the Mazdas and the 6.0 Michael Shank Racing car, that they have to raise their ride height to cope with that, and that compromises the aerodynamic efficiency of the cars through the faster corners. Now let's see, Ricky Taylor then with a 28.8 for Fittipaldi, 10 from 5 from 31 Eric Curran, 30.1 for the Honda-powered Catherine Legg.
This will be the first representative lap now, and here comes Christian Fittipaldi up towards the last couple of corners.
And the 60, the 55 and the 70 will all take a lap or two more to get the heat in the Continental tyres, as Fittipaldi goes all purple through 3 sectors and clocks at 25.2. Eric Curran, his best lap in all 3 sectors, 26.3, 1.1 seconds at the head of the field. This is very early in the piece here, with a third of the time already ticked away. Catherine Legg at 26.7. That's very nice for Catherine. She's getting down to work. She did a 26.4 this morning. I think that was her fastest time so far. So that's very impressive by Catherine to get down to that time so quickly in this qualifying session. 3 laps completed by all of the leading cars. Tom Long at 27.8 is in 4th position for Mazda. Mark Goosens 27.9, taking his time in the number 90, the blue Visit Florida sponsored car. And Ricky Taylor at 28.3 in the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing car, off the pace at the moment.
Yeah,
Fittipaldi to the point, 125.2. Improves his time.
No, that was last lap. I'm just coming up now to complete
Sorry,
another
excuse
lap.
me. I'm still looking at the purple time. You're quite correct. So who's moved up then? Tristan Nunez has moved up to 4th position with a 27.4. And Fittipaldi completes my prediction. He does go quicker at 24.3. 25.2 for Curran, so that's a decent time. But here comes Mark Goosens and crossed the line on 24.9. So half a second. And Ricky Taylor now comes good on his 4th lap at 24.9. 24.917 for Taylor, takes him to 2nd. Mark Goosens at 24.972. We're back into 3 decimal places again. Ricky Taylor then building up nicely to an assault for pole position. Christian Fittipaldi, though, is looking to go close to or below a 1:24. Ricky Taylor out through turn 4 to 5. 5 through to 6 and onto the strand. Takes the racing line through the 2 kinks that don't really have numbers, and then braking just before the bridge before he turns into the blue and white curb on the right-hand side at turn number 7. Round the back of the fountain now. 2 tricky left-handers that throw you all the way out to the right-hand side of the circuit. You can't really use the jagged curbs there either. They throw the car off too much. Oh, and he's just overcooked it.
Yeah.
Going out through turn number, what's that, 7, 8, 9, 10, isn't it? Oh, just got a bit of a slide on and couldn't get the Wayne Taylor Racing number 10 car in a straight line before he turned in right-handed to 10.
An improvement there again for Christian Fittipaldi now, 124.053 to the 124.136 of Mark Goosens.
Yes, he's closed right in.
Eric Curran there, an excellent lap, 3rd fastest in car number 31, and was fastest of all in the middle sector. And Ricky Taylor there lost it all on that final section, coming out of the fountain section. That cost him at least 2 or 3 tenths of a second, and that is about how much he trails.
Eric Curran with the fastest middle sector there.
Yeah, exactly.
So that 31 car is very strong in the middle, and we know how important that can be.
Fittipaldi fastest again now in the 1st section, fastest of all in the 1st section. He took another 2 tenths of a second over his previous best through that first part of the lap.
Fittipaldi is getting down to business, takes a lovely entry into turn 10, allows him to get the throttle picked up super early as he sprints down to 11.
Not quite.
Oh, so close to the wall.
Not quite as quick as the previous lap through the middle sector. Let's see what he can do on the final sector.
Well, he's not got much more.
It's going to be a good lap.
It is going to be a good lap, and it's going to be the best lap at 23, the first 23, and it's a 23.8. And all of a sudden he stretches his lead to 3 tenths of a second. Now Mark Goosens is not on a bad lap. He doesn't improve though. He's best at 24.1, and he goes to a 24.2. Catherine Legg putting a decent lap together as well. Down in 7th at the moment. Can she improve?
Excuse me. Ricky Taylor improves to 3rd place there with a 124.2. Personal best in each of the 3 sectors, but not quickest anywhere.
Catherine gets down to a 26.4. That's as quick as she's been round here in the number 60 Honda powered Ligier. She's got clear track now as well, but that car, like the Mazdas, just does not look happy on the bumps at all.
No.
Goosens.
Significantly lighter, of course, the P2 derived cars. They weigh in at around about 905 kilograms for the Mazdas. The Ligier Honda 950 kilograms, a little bit heavier, but that's compared to the 1,029 kilograms of the Corvettes.
And Goosens is catching Eric Curran as he comes out of turn 10, heading towards the tricky right-hander at turn 11. You always feel as though you can take a little bit more into turn 11, and that's, of course, when it bites you. Now, these guys are getting close enough to get an aerodynamic effect as they come across the line. Curran doesn't improve, neither does Mark Goosens, but he's now going to be in a bit of strife behind Eric Curran unless Eric lets him go. 4.5 minutes to go. Ricky Taylor doesn't improve, but it's another, looks like it's going to be another improvement for Catherine Legg this time. And she's putting together a very decent lap indeed. And yes, jumps up to 5th position with a 25.1. That's her fastest lap of the weekend so far.
By more than a second, and in doing so, just leapfrog both of the Mazda prototypes there. So Catherine Legg up to 5th place for Michael Shank Racing in car number 60.
Eric Curran's done his personal best in the first sector, and we know he's good in sector 2. Can he improve from 4th position in the 31, the red and white Whelen-sponsored Action Express car? Waiting for his time to come through. Fittipaldi, not on a quick one. Oh, well, I say that. And he's actually still doing a decent job, Fittipaldi, but just not personal bests. Eric Curran, 31.9 in the middle sector, not too shabby. He's got half a chance here of moving up ahead of Ricky Taylor.
There's another 124.1 second lap there for Christian Fittipaldi.
So consistent.
Yeah, only Mark Goosens has gone quicker than that, other than himself, of course, as Christian Fittipaldi leads the way with a 23.815. Mark Goosens, the car number 90, second fastest, 124.1. Then Ricky Taylor, car number 10, 124.2, and Eric Curran, 124.3.
Catherine Legg putting together a decent second half of her 8th lap. Little mistake by Fittipaldi. He locked a lap up. 25.1 was her best. She doesn't quite improve. Didn't have a good first section, but she nailed sectors 2 and 3. Now it'll be interesting to see if she can add a good sector 1 onto that. She will take the confidence of 2 good sectors from her last lap into the last 2.5 minutes of this qualifying. Fittipaldi then by 0.321 of a second into the pit lane comes Tom Long. Tristan Nunez has called it a day in the other Mazda as well. 55 and 70 will be no better than 6th and 7th position. Catherine Legg gets her personal best in the first sector and matches Mark Goosens almost to the 1,000th of a second, but Goosens goes quicker than anybody in the centre section. He's only got to find 3/10. This is going to be very close indeed. Fittipaldi's going to get one more lap, and Goosens has got Curran still just ahead of him. He might be getting a little bit of a tow across the start-finish line. He comes through now at 23.863, 0.048 of a second. And again, we're inside a 1/10 of a second between first and second in the top class here at Belle Isle, the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, providing the excitement, and this is only qualifying. The top 4 separated by half a second. Catherine Legg just at the moment unable to put her best sectors together. If she could, she'd be down to a 24.8, I reckon.
Yeah, it was a 20. Yeah, she lost over a second in the final sector on that last lap. But still, still getting comfortable in that car. It's completely different to the Delta Wing she's been driving for the last year and a half.
It'll be good for... Oh, brushed the wall from Christian Fittipaldi. He's fielding the heat now from behind as he comes to the final part of what will be... Oh, no, he's going to get one more lap, I think, here. Still 40 seconds.
This is going to be another good one.
Yeah. Is it better than the 23.8? He crosses the line now, and it's not. It's a 24.2, but he's got one more lap. 29 seconds. Mark Goosens, he's just done a 23.8 himself. Now, what can he do? I don't think he's going to improve here, but he'll get one more lap.
Yeah, that last lap for Christian Fittipaldi lost a half a second compared to his best 3rd sector time, and he was about 4/10 slower on the overall lap, so it's just that 3rd sector that cost Christian Fittipaldi for going faster still.
But he's just done the fastest first sector of all, and Mark Goosens is throwing it in as well. He was rotating the car on the throttle through 1 and 2. Fittipaldi will see on his dashboard that he's up on his own best time, up on everybody's best time in sector number 1 as he brakes super late for 7. Somehow gets the Mustang sampling Corvette turned in to that tricky right-hander now through the back of the fountain section. He's made 0.4 of a second on Goossens. He spun it, and he's just missed the wall.
Yeah.
Not sure how he held on to that. That was actually a pretty good save from Goossens, but he's going to have absolutely wrecked his Continental tyres.
And he's also going to be ruining anybody else's final lap as well.
That's not necessarily the worst thing, though. He didn't do that on purpose, though. Let's get that. He was trying.
Yeah.
He was trying. He just... Oh, the car was off the ground for a moment there. He turned in from the middle of the road to turn 9, and he had so much momentum and scrapes the curb actually quite badly with the right front of the number 5 car. Just missed the end concrete barrier there, Jeremy.
Just by not very much at all. He was certainly pushing hard. He'd just gone purple in that first sector, the fastest sector time of all by Christian Fittipaldi. He was about 0.2 down in his middle sector, but I think he was probably going backwards as he went across that middle sector end line there. So it was a great effort by Christian Fittipaldi, and he will be rewarded with the pole position for the 4th time in his career, 2nd this season.
And Shea Adam is on the way. Our Continental Tire pit lane reporter arrives at the scene even before Christian Fittipaldi is out of the car.
I think we'll see a big smile there for Christian. I think that was fun for him.
Yes, he had some fun, but he'll be looking at the tyres as well. The famous helmet colours with the fluorescent raindrop pattern on the top of his bell helmet. And Shea Adam, our Continental Tire pit lane reporter, is there. Shea?
Christian immediately grabbing Joao, not letting him go away. It's a true team effort from everybody. And the tires, honestly, John, they don't look too bad. I'm sure that the engineers will take a much closer look at those before the green flag flies tomorrow morning. But everybody down here to congratulate Christian. 2nd pole of the year for him. The other pole came at a street circuit that was Long Beach, very similar to how tight we see it here in Detroit. But Christian, it's got to be such a good feeling as Eric Kern comes over to congratulate him as well. Such a good feeling. You come in not leading the championship, which is not something you're used to come out and throw it down and say, I've got the fastest car. I can do this. I'm going to win this race. You're going to have to get around me. Is that what the message that you delivered was?
It was pretty interesting today because we had some mechanical problems in the last session. And obviously, I think we couldn't adjust the car to João's liking and also to my liking because there was definitely something going on, but it's part of the sport. Sometimes you have perfect days, sometimes you have other days which are not so perfect, but obviously hats off to the boys. I'm really happy with all the effort that they put into the program. I'm happy for Chevy, Mustang sampling, and let's try to capitalize on the pole position that we lost in Long Beach. Let's see what we can do tomorrow. But most of all, also, I'm happy that we swept both poles in both street courses of the year. There are only 2 street tracks, and we were on pole on both of them. That was pretty cool.
Just how hard were you pushing that last lap with the spin?
Well, I was pushing a lot because Ian had told me on the radio that I think it was the 90, they got pretty close. And to be honest with you, at that point, my tires were passed already a little bit. And I knew that maybe at that stage of the game, if I connected a perfect lap, I could have gone quicker, but I knew it was extremely difficult. And unfortunately, when I got to the fountain, I lost it. But God was looking after us, and we didn't hit any walls and cleaned the car up. And let's see what we can do tomorrow.
I'm excited to see what you can do tomorrow, Christian. It should be a good day for you.
Thank you so much.
And trails by just 3 points in the championship stakes coming into this weekend, behind their Action Express Racing teammates, number 31 car of Eric Curran and Dane Cameron. They will start 4th in tomorrow's race after a good effort there by Eric Curran, and that's his best lap so far this weekend, a 1:24.3. But again, a really thrilling qualifying session, and it will be Christian Fittipaldi, Andrew Barbosa, who will start from the pole position in that Mustang sampling car number 5.
Congratulations to Christian Fittipaldi, to Robert Alon, to Brian Sellers, our 3 pole sitters for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. The race is tomorrow, and it's all live here on IMSA Radio.